Welcome back, everybody, to some more 428 Shibuya Scramble. Now we gotta keep out on Tama's, so now we're gonna go and hop over to Archie. His name's not Archie, it's Achi probably, but I call him Archie, just like I call Minio. Still don't know how to pronounce it. Minowaki something. I call him Mino. Archie and Hitomi scampered through the backwoods along Center Guy, white sneakers and pumps slapping on the pavement. Archie kept his eyes peeled, continually checking ahead and behind as they darted through the gaps between the buildings. Finally, they stopped in a narrow alley. There was no way he'll find us in here, he said. No one knows about this place. Took another look around and then let out a sigh of relief. Seems they managed to shake the gunman for now. What the hell? Oh. Back when Archie was with SOS, he had come through Center Guy practically every day. Studs of Shibuya. The gang had started out as little more than a group of local teens. They didn't do much in particular, just horsing around and killing time. What mattered was that they were having fun. But it wasn't long before it wasn't all fun and games. Archie couldn't help but notice the slobs who were making a mess of Shibuya, dirtying it all up. He wasn't about to let them get away with it. Most frequently, it was folks who tossed cigarette butts out on the street, or plastered walls and graffiti. When they didn't respond to his more gentle warnings, he found slightly more forceful ways of getting his point across. SOS got a reputation. Street punks started trying to pit fights with his members. Those guys required a bit more force to handle. And when it came to the worst of the lot, the drug dealers, the muggers, the men who tried to force themselves on women, it was a full-on battle, no holds barred. Before long, SOS had established itself as somewhat of a vigilante corps. Soon it became one of the biggest gangs in Shibuya. Let's lay low here for a bit and see what happens, Archie says. The alley where they hid was like a dimly lit chasm, obscuring them from view. The only problem now was figuring out what to do next. They needed to find that blue van again, which meant figure out the best way to get back into Dogonzaka without the man with the cane catching them once more. Archie, Hitomi whispered. I think I can handle myself from here. Are you stupid? She got to her feet and gave Archie a deep bow. Whoa! Archie held up a hand. We've been over this already. You're not gonna be okay. That guy has a gun. If he let her go up against that assassin alone, he might as well be the one to pull the trigger himself. Thank you so much for everything you've done for me, Hitomi continued as if she hadn't heard him. She started to shuffle out of the alleyway. Hey, what did I just say? Really, Archie, I appreciate your concern, but I can't in good conscience put you in danger anymore. But, I mean... Archie tried to press the point, but Hitomi cut him off. There's no good reason for you to risk yourself to keep helping me. Her tone was absolute. Fuck no. We're not backing down. What are you fucking crazy? We've went through all this just to say, oh, you're right, bye-bye. The fuck? But Archie was determined to help her anyway. He refused to back down. Look, I want to help people who are in trouble. What's so wrong about that? Huh? He locked eyes with Hitomi, willing her to understand. I'm not the most dependable guy, I know that. But still, Hitomi dropped her gaze and Archie trailed off, feeling like an idiot. Oh, it's no use. I'm no use. He hung his head with a sigh. Just then, a bit of light shone into the alleyway from above. Looked like someone on the adjacent building's floor. Is that Tama? Why is Tama there? Hold on. What was Tama doing? I don't know. We're gonna go swap over to Tama then. Wait. Yeah. This is... Oh, okay. Now, okay, let's go back. Matter. Looked like someone on the adjacent building's upper floor had just turned on the lights. The no-can building. Several, but a decade-old legend tells of a mysterious 13th floor. A diet ad sales demo is being held on one of the upper floors. The light illuminated Hitomi's face. When Archie saw the look in his eyes, he reconsidered his decision. She was trying her hardest to hide it, but she was clearly terrified. No way was he letting her go back out there alone. Still, if he tried to insist, she would only refuse him again. Hitomi, humor me for a second here. Tell me, what's the proper way to dispose of a plastic bottle? She stared at him in surprise. Well, first you remove the cap in the wrapper, and then you rinse out the inside and crush it. Archie let out the breath he'd been holding. Okay, good. Huh? I don't understand. What's good? You gave me my reason why I have to help you out. I super respect people who respect the environment. I'm one of those, whatchamacallits, an environmentalist. Archie pointed at his mean, clean t-shirt. Hitomi hesitated. And what was your plan if I'd said the answer was to toss the plastic in with the trash? Well, then I need to stick with you to help teach you. Environmental awareness begins with good education. So then you were going to tag along me with regardless. Look, I'm just super pumped to learn that you care so much about proper recycling. Archie cracked a huge grin. Okay then. Okay. If you're really sure about it, I guess I could use your help for a little while longer. Bam! That's how you do it, ladies and gentlemen. Hitomi flashed him a little smile. Man, she's so hot. I'm just gonna say what he's really thinking here. Archie thought. Well, no, he's thinking she's hot, not cute. Jesus. I'm gonna use an arrow and point at it, but why is the Atlanta Hawks NBA logo there? Sneaking out from the alley, Archie and Hitomi began to make their way along the side streets back to Dorganzaka. It was a pretty big detour compared to taking the main thoroughfare, but that would be worth it if I meant they avoided the man with the cane. Archie looked over at Hitomi as she walked alongside him. Her face was solemn. He could feel the intensity of her worry for her sister. Oh, well. Looks like he... Oh. Ooh, well. Looks who got himself a little cutie. The sudden call startled him. He spun around. Who? Yo, mean clean! Over here! Archie spotted a young man up ahead sneering at him. At his side were two others. Archie recognized the lot. SOS. It told me that out a nervous squeak. Archie? Don't worry about him. He led her onward, attempting to stride right past the trio. Whoa! Hey, now you're just gonna ignore me? That's pretty damn rude, especially coming from someone who used to be an old buddy. The three toughs moved to bar Archie's path. Ooh, she is hella fine! Come on, you gonna introduce us? Extremely attractive. Sorry, man, Archie said. I'm in a bit of a hurry here. He gave them a tepid smile. A big hurry, huh? Where to? Some love hotel in God, these names. Macho? I probably butchered the shit out of that name. Too rich. Another chimed in. She a screamer, Archie. Archie! Take a stereotypical way to poke fun at a would-be amorous couple. Now take Archie's name. There you go. They burst out howling like a gang of monkeys. One of them cackled like a grinning idiot. Ah! Archie! Ah! Archie! Oh my Jesus. Ah! 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 Oh, okay, we're just gonna skip that, bro. Damn, bro. What are you, 3 years old, bro? Let's gonna move on. Archie felt his anger boil. There was too much at stake. He was going to have to suck it up and ignore them for the time being. I have a feeling this might give me a bad ending, but we're still gonna... We don't have time for this middle school gang here. Gritting his teeth, he tried to slip past them, but the largest of the three grabbed him by the collar. Yeah, I figured that was what would happen. You ran out, man. Susumu's the man who runs this town now. You got no right to keep acting like you the boss of us. He shoved Archie up against the wall. Says who? Archie asked. Susumu? Say what now? Did Susumu say I've got no right to act like the boss? Bitch, please. Susumu ain't got time to worry about your sorry ass. Ah, is that so? Archie's fist flashed out, catching the man clean on the jaw. He dropped to the ground with a dull thud. So tell Susumu this. Everyone in Shibuya needs to play nice and have fun. Archie kept his tone light and jovial. But he eyed the other two toughs like a hawk eyeing its prey. Is he gonna be alright? Hitomi murmured. She looked at the man Archie had laid out with some concern. Ah, he'll be fine. That's all it took to knock him out. He's got no right. He's got no right to act all badass. Archie, huh? I don't believe I've had the pleasure. Ah, great. A tall man with an angry gleam in his eyes had appeared atop the steps nearby. He must have turned up during the commotion. He radiated a distinct aura of menace. That's me, Archie replied, and just who are you? Once it was someone he didn't recognize. The name's Yoji Kuryu. Used to roll with a gang known as the Killer Whale. He answered any and all resistance with his fists. This crazy antic led him to being kicked out of the gang, however, and lately he's been hanging on Shibuya. I've joined up with SOS after you left. Now I'm Susumu's number 2 guy. The newcomer stared at Archie's face, sizing him up. Our legendary founder. I've heard so much about you. The founder. Had been a long time since anyone called them that. There had been a bunch of arguing over who took charge of the new group that was forming to set things straight in Shibuya. At some point, folks started hailing him as the force behind SOS. But founder? That was just something his buddies called him. He had never paid it much heed. Shibuya was a place for fun, not hierarchies. At least, in Archie's mind, that's how it was ought to be. Like how you busted up some mean old drug dealers, rescued your pals from Yakuza bondage. Any other types of Yakuza bondage will not be featured in this game. Sorry if the tip link here got your hopes up. It did not. I was really hoping that was the captivity was the only bondage we were going to be talking about, and gladly we are. You're a real hero. Kuru's tongue flicked from his mouth like a snake's. Hitomi shuddered. Archie couldn't blame her for being creeped out. Well, that's all in the past now, isn't it? Kuru continued. You went modestly on your way. It's up to us now. And we've helped SOS grow by leaps and bounds. Eric, help you on. Let me retry that. 3, 2, 1. And we've helped SOS grow by leaps and bounds to help carry on your legacy, no matter who stands in our way. That thought didn't sit right with Archie. If aggressive expansion was the name of the game, the gang was losing touch with its roots. It wasn't about keeping Shibuya safe and fun anymore. Make SOS bigger, huh? He said. I'm guessing that was Susumu's call as well. Kiryu didn't answer his question. His mouth merely twisted into a knowing sneer. In any event, I think these boys here need a little lesson of manners. The guillotine ought to do the trick. Right, yeah. Both King Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette were executed by the guillotine. Yes, they were. The other gang members started an alarm. Whoa, hey, just calm down, man. Please, anything but the guillotine. Kiri pointedly ignored their pleas. Whoa, hey, what's the guillotine? Archie asked. Kiru smirked. The guillotine is... The guillotine. What? With me, worms! Without a glance back, Hiro shulled away. His two underlings followed him unhappily. Archie wondered what lay in store for them, but right now he had more important things to worry about. Come on, let's go. He took Hitomi by the hand and they were back on their way. Oh! Hitomi perked up. That's me! She reached into her pocket and took out her cell phone. Huh? She stared at the screen with consternation. What is it? Archie asked. It's an email. Mr. Tanaka. Who's Mr. Tanaka? He works with my father. Oh, I know who that is. But I'm not sure what I should do. Archie remembered that the criminal had warned her against contacting her family or the police. She seemed reluctant to even open this message. I'm sure it's fine just to read an email, he said. And besides, he's not the police, and he's not your family. Yeah, you're right. Hitomi scanned the message anxiously. It sounds like he's just worried about me, she said. And does he know about the kidnapping? Yes, I know my father trusts him, and he's always been so... Hitomi cut herself short. Still, it was clear to Archie that she and this Tanaka person had some sort of close relationship. You know what? I'm not going to touch that with a 40-foot pole. I'm going to go ahead and leave that be. I wonder if it's safe for me to let him know what the situation is. I think it should be, Archie told her. I mean, the kidnappers aren't going to know you sent an email, right? Hitomi began typing out a response. Archie watched over her, wild speculations running through his mind. There was no way a mild-mannered young woman like her could be dating one of her father's co-workers, right? I didn't want to say anything. Like I said, I didn't want to touch that. But, yikes. That's all I gotta say is yikes. Osawa trusts Tanaka and he's banging his daughter behind his back. That's some big yikes, folks. That's definitely some fucking big yikes. Unless she was all about finding herself a sugar daddy. I don't see that. No, he was being ridiculous. Archie banished the thought from his mind. Besides, Hitomi's personal life wasn't the problem right now. The problem was that psycho with the cane and the gun. Is something wrong? Hitomi asked. She finished sending her email. Oh, no, nothing. Nothing at all. Archie did his best to look nonchalant. It was a good thing she couldn't read his mind. Like I said, I didn't want to touch that with a 40-foot pole, but now I got to. It is actually gross for... Not in Hitomi. For... Here, hold on. It is actually gross for Tanaka to do that to Osawa behind his back. It is actually very gross. He should know better. I mean, Osawa trusts him with what looks like his life from what little we've seen of Osawa. And that's just gross. But like I said, maybe Tanaka's just been there for her and not in that aspect. We don't know though. So let's go. Like I said, when I first appeared, I didn't want to touch that shit. But then it sort of made me, so. They exited Center Guy and resumed their approach to Dogazaka by the way of Maruya Macho. Many hotels. The still heard hotels where two people are so inclined might fuck. A couple heading to this kind of place in the early afternoon would be without a doubt be assumed to have been on decks. You might be wondering whether an option for these two to get up to mischief will appear as a selection prompt. Well, don't get your hopes up. This isn't that kind of game. My hopes weren't up because they're not even a couple. They're, right now, I would say probably friends. While I would like to see my dog Archie get some, it's not right now. We got bigger issues. Another long detour to increase their odds of running into the gunman. They made an unlikely pair. Scruffy Archie, limbs lackadaisically swinging to hide his embarrassment, and brisk, purposeful Hitomi. Archie found himself watching her out of the corner of his eye. He could still feel her anxiety. He wished there was some way he could ease her fears. Hey Hitomi, mind if I ask you something? Sure, go ahead. Okay, so like, I realize this might be kind of a weird question, but he puts on a serious face. What does eco and eco-friendly mean? Huh? Like, I know it's about helping the earth and all, but I don't know what it really means, you know? Hitomi thought for a moment. Pretty sure it's for the English word ecology, which is the science of examining the relationship between man and nature. Oh, right, science! Pleased with himself, Archie chatted on excitedly. A faint smile crept back onto Hitomi's face. Say, you ever hear about the clean river here in Shibuya? A clean river? In Shibuya? Really? Ask about 100 youngsters outside of Shibuya Station the same question, you'll probably get that answer 100 times. Yeah, the Shibuya River. You know, that drainage canal we saw earlier? Channel. Wait, that's the quote-unquote clean river you're talking about? By no reasonable definition was the Shibuya River what anyone would call clean. That's the one! Archie grinned at her confusion. See, the river used to be clean a long time ago. I read about it in this old book called Science Strikes Back. Popular monthly magazine. Series has been running for 29 years now. But the Strike Back appendix is still immensely popular with children. A woman who handles the home deliveries is known as the SSB lady, and children wait excitedly on the 25th of each month for her to make her rounds. I used to have that book, Hitomi chirped, her eyes wide with excitement. You're talking about that bit with the river that got turned into a song, right? A famous 1912 song, The Spring Brook. The song inspired blah blah blah. Stone monument bearing the song lyrics about the Odoku line between, yep. Yeah, that's the one. You read it too? I did. Archie felt a giddy rush at this unexpected connection they shared. Imagine if it was still a clean, beautiful river here in Shibuya. It'd be the perfect place for taking a romantic stroll. Hitomi looked up at Archie. She seemed to share his joy in his idea. Wouldn't it be amazing, Archie said, if that dirty little channel could be clean like it used to be? It would! Maybe as amazing as the look on Hitomi's face right now, Archie thought. Hitomi, tell me some more ecological stuff. Ecology stuff. Hit me with whatever you got. She seemed happy to oblige, and as they walked along, Hitomi explained the bits of knowledge she had picked up over the years. Archie was quiet, hanging on her every word. The return to Dogazaka became an impromptu environmentalist. Holy shit! Impromptu environmentalism lecture. Can't read for shit today. Hitomi continued until she exhausted her ready knowledge. I just don't get it, Archie grumbled when she paused at last. I mean, why is it a bad thing if the planet gets warmer? Wouldn't that make winter in places like Hokkaido way easier? No, you see, because if the whole planet gets warmer, it'll cause the whole ecosystem to collapse. Archie racked his brain. And the ecosystem is what again? Is that like a solar system? Images of the cosmos filled his imagination. No, not really, Hitomi said. So it's more like a sound system then. Not really. Oh, but anyway. You're saying the problem is with the, what was it again? Carbon dioxide. Yeah, that stuff. I'm going to have to cut down on that. Sure. That settles it, Archie declared proudly. No more soda for me. Soda? Hitomi asked. Yeah, it's carbonated, right? Hitomi burst out laughing. What? I'm serious. You don't think I can do it? I'm sorry, Hitomi said, catching her breath. It's just... Her face froze, her mirth abruptly vanishing. Oh no. Huh? Archie stared at her face in alarm. What is it? Oh, for fuck's sake! This dude does not give up! He turned his attention in the direction Hitomi was looking. The man with the cane was again bearing down on them. Oh, come on! You've got to be kidding me. He grabbed Hitomi's hand and ran. This time he headed for the main road, hoping to get lost in the crowd. Hitomi struggled to keep up. She was exhausted after all the earlier running. You could do it, he told her. The guy's got a cane, we can outrun him. The assassin was still hurrying after them. Once we get around the next corner, we'll be out on the main road. Yeah, okay. She strained to get the words out. Bit by bit, her feet were slowing down. Damn it, throw her out her shoulders, do something! It was another 50 meters or so to the main road. Realized they might get caught before they get there. Sorry, Hitomi, he claimed, but I gotta do this. He scooped her up in her arms. Eee! By the time the squeak had escaped her mouth, Archie was already running full out. Archie, please put me down. Don't worry, you're super light. Archie glanced back and saw the assassin now far behind, break off his pursuit. But just as they rounded the corner here, the man called out to him. Archie almost stopped on reflex. Hold on, did he just shout my name? How the fuck does he know my name? Quaking with unease, Archie slipped into the crowd. Archie, could you please set me down now? A meek voice pulled him from his panic. Huh? He looked down at the girl in his arms. People in the crowd, all of them were watching and chuckling. I mean, I'm really happy you saved me and all. But being carried around like this is, Hitomi was blushing beet red, but Archie's expression had gone pale. Archie, wait! Had he really heard that right? That's what it sounded like. He set Hitomi back on his feet and then used his shirt sleeve to wipe the sweat from his face. You okay? Hitomi asked. When we were running just now, did that guy say anything? Not that I heard, no. Huh. Had he just imagined it then? Maybe. Archie was sure he didn't recognize the man. There's something weird about that guy though, Hitomi murmured. She furrowed her brow. No matter where we run, he keeps catching up to us. It's almost like he knows where we're going. She was right. Finding a particular pair of people in a place as big as Shibuya bordered on impossible. And yet somehow the assassin had tracked them down several times now. Yeah, Archie said. It's like he got some way of locating us or something. He got a sudden idea. That's it! What if they're doing the whole tracking thing, but like backwards? What? Hitomi's eyes widened. Okay, so you know how in police shows they always stick a tracking device in the bag with the ransom money? Like that, but backwards. Okay, but so backwards isn't the right way to describe this, but Archie doesn't realize that. He does seem to know what a tracking device is at least. A radio transmitter that can be located by the signal it emits. The Japanese sometimes refer this to as a beeper, not to be confused with the English slang term beeper, meaning a pager. Backwards? Yeah, like instead of putting the tracker on the money, They put it on you. Hitomi frowned. I don't see how I could possibly have a tracker on me. She said, I mean, I'm just wearing my clothes from home. Oh, huh. Well then how is he doing it then? Barely a moment passed from the moment he got his words out of his mouth. Oh, for the love of fuck. Once again, the man with the cane stepped out on the road ahead of them. Well, they didn't seem as if you know exactly where they were going. How the hell is this happening? Archie groaned. He reached for Hitomi's waist, ready to pick her up again. It's okay, I can run myself. Archie took her hand instead, and they raced into another alley. This guy would just not give up. At the far end of the alley, he could see a forklift parked beside a pile of cardboard boxes. Archie decided to... let's just throw the boxes. Ugh. Archie snapped up the nearest box, turned and threw it at the man with the cane. The box was filled with something heavy. This ought to do some damage. He watched with satisfaction as it struck the assassin in the face. The man staggered sideways. Here, have another! One by one, Archie hurled every box in the pile. And one for the road. Ooh. The last box wasn't properly sealed, and it broke open as it struck the pursuer, sending several bottles flying. They shattered as they crashed onto the street, splashing red liquid. Is that Burning Hammer? Oops. Archie, our assassin, dropped to one knee, scrubbing at his face with his hand. Archie looked down in surprise. He couldn't have possibly hit that guy that hard. Peering at the man more closely, he saw that he was splattered in red liquid. Apparently the stuff in the bottles had gotten in his eyes. Now's our chance! Archie took off with Hitomi, leaving their pursuer kneeling in the alleyway. I'm gonna obviously have to change that. It's obviously gonna be a bad ending for someone. The ragged breathing echoed through the maze of side streets. All that work just to wind up fleeing for their lives again. Archie ground his teeth in frustration. There are two types of teeth grinding. Roughly at this time, Mino is grinding his teeth while trying to keep to his schedule. That's like the third jump we've had in Archie's story alone. Hitomi, he groaned when they slowed down to catch their breath the last. I'm so sorry. Hitomi was nonplussed. Sorry? Whatever for? I keep saying how I'm going to help you, but instead I just keep putting you in danger. Archie, no. If you hadn't been with me, I'm sure I'd already be dead. No! Archie hurried to cut off her before she could finish. Don't go there, please. He sighed and then spoke again more quietly. I just want to help you. Clenching a fist, he looked up at the sky. A tiny sliver of blue was visible through the narrow gap between the buildings. He told me to hung her head. Honestly, I can hardly believe how much you've done for me. I do appreciate it, but still, the lengths you've gone to. Archie looked at his feet and then drew himself up. Well, I admit, it's not just because of some gut instinct or your love for the environment, he said. There's another reason I'm doing this. There is? Archie paused, searching for the right words. I've got a little sister. You do? No, you don't. You do? Her name's Suzanne. She's cute and smart, kind of the exact opposite of me, you know. His voice took on an uncharacteristic solemnity. Fuck! He's fucking... What am I, a thesaurus? His voice took on uncharacteristic solemnity. Jesus. Probably butchered that word too. But she's got a weak heart, so she's in the hospital. Oops, sad music. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. But what does that have to do with wanting to help me? Back when Suzanne was first admitted, I'd go and visit her every day. But she... Oh boy, we're getting a flashback. Flashback time. Archie, you don't need to come visit me every day, you know. The quiet hospital room made Suzanne's voice sound all the more frail. What are you talking about? Archie said. You know I'm worried about you. I'll be fine on my own, really. Archie heard that line before. The more she insisted she was fine, though, the more reluctant he was to leave her. Besides, aren't you the amazing guy who helps hold Shibuya together? They need you out there. Archie didn't know how to respond to that. As much as it was flattering to think he played some important role, he was really just hanging out and goofing off with his pals. Certainly wasn't anything for his sister to be proud of. I'd rather you spent your energy helping people who need it more than me. What do you mean, people who need help the help more? Who could possibly need more help than you right now? Archie scratched his head in confusion, and his sister gave him a weak, tiny smile. You'll figure it out, she said. I'm sure they'll find you soon enough. But I'm going to be here with you. I'll be fine. Suzanne's face was pale, but her tone was firm. My big brother is going to be out there doing his best to help people. That's what makes me happy. That's what keeps me going. Her voice was clear and unwavering, as if to head off his rebuttal. All right, Archie said with a reluctant sigh. So then, I guess, I'll just go out there and help people who are in trouble. Satisfied, Suzanne smiled. It's probably Susan. Susan. It still sounds like Susan. It don't matter. Thank you. And can you promise me one more thing? Of course. Anything you like. He thumped himself on the chest. If you're going to help someone, make sure you see it all the way through to the end, okay? Okay. No calling it quits partway through, though, yeah? You got it. I just worry, Susan said. I know you have a tendency to lose interest in things. Look, don't sweat it. I swear I won't give up on this. Archie stuck out his pinky finger. But I want you to promise me something in return. Promise me you won't let this thing beat you. Suzanne hooked her little finger around her brother's, her sad smile fragile as glass. Oh boy. So there you have it, Archie said. Kind of a rubbish story, I know. Not very funny. So your sister's heart condition, it's pretty bad? Archie nodded. You know, she's called me amazing. There's nothing amazing about me. Susan, she's the amazing one. She's been in the hospital for so long, in so much pain, but never complains. All I do is hang out and goof off with my friends. He gave a shrug. But I just keep thinking about how happy she'd be if I really did help people. And it turned out that finding people in need hadn't been all that simple. The only helpful thing Archie had been able to think of was going around picking up trash. And that's why Susan's 88 brother left SOS to be Shibuya's garbage man. Did your friends know? Hitomi asked about your sister. I didn't tell them. I didn't want to pin this all on her being sick. Ah, I see. At least now Hitomi understood what the fight with the local toughs had been about. The sound of approaching footsteps jerked them back into the present. Oh, for the love of fuck. The man with the cane appeared at the end of the alleyway. He raised his gun. There was no time to flee. Archie quickly stepped in front of Hitomi. If you shoot us here, people are going to come running, he said. I'm guessing you don't want to get pegged for murder. The assassin didn't flinch. Stay out of my way, Archie. This time there was no doubt. The gunman had spoken Archie's name, loud and clear. How do you know who I am? The man stared at him through the sights of his gun. She has to die, Archie. It's for your own good. The fuck you on about, bruh? What does he mean? Hitomi whispered. Archie, what is he talking about? Archie's mind was a whirl. Things were coming at him too fast for him to process. I don't know this guy, Hitomi. Please, you have to believe me. But Hitomi took a doubtful step away from Archie. The assassin didn't miss his opening. He quickly aimed at her. Cut the crap, man! What do you mean killing her is for my own good? Once she's dead, You'll understand. No! The gunman finger tightened on the trigger. No! You bitches! Kinda hit us with a fucking cliffhanger like that. You sons of bitches! Alright, we finished ACHI'S. We're gonna go with Minos next. Because I'm interested to see how he handles everything. Osawa we'll do last because his I'm least interested in. But next episode we'll do Minos. Alright guys and gals, catch you in the next one.